A new Doctor Who trailer is just around the corner, according to a glitch teaser that aired at the weekend. Now obviously we have already had some trailers for the 6th anniversary specials, so we got the one after the Power of the Doctor, we got the one on Christmas Day, then we got the one earlier this year around the time of Eurovision. And each of these trailers has revealed something different about the upcoming episodes, about their plots, or their titles. In the case of the Eurovision trailer, we've got better glimpses at things like Beep the Meep and the Wrath Warriors. Obviously we've had Ncuti Gatwa making a bit of a cameo appearance, we've had lots of stuff of the Doctor and Donna, and Sylvia, and Rose Noble, Yasmin Finney's character. We've seen stuff from the filming at Camden, from the filming in Bristol, from filming in studio. But there is obviously still lots of stuff that they are keeping close to their chest, or at the very least, not revealing or not confirming. And I think this next trailer at the weekend would be the perfect opportunity to confirm one thing in particular, namely the identity of Neil Patrick Harris's villain. So it has been all but confirmed that Neil Patrick Harris will be playing an existing character from the Doctor Who universe, namely the Celestial Toymaker. And yeah, there have been various hints and teasers and little bits and pieces, really kind of pretty strongly implying this. I thought in this video it would be a good idea to kind of just bring all that evidence together, recap everything we know, everything we've seen, everything that's been hinted at in preparation for this hypothetical reveal. So Neil Patrick Harris's involvement in the specials was revealed in June of last year. We got that lovely photo of him wearing that sort of very intriguing sort of Carpenter-esque costume. And I think pretty much from day one, people were kind of saying, me included, could this be a Toymaker thing, a new guise for the Toymaker? Because, obviously the Toymaker didn't look like this when he originally appeared in the series in the 60s. But that whole kind of Carpenter, woodcutter, kind of aesthetic or whatever, or toy maker, like, someone who literally kind of makes toys like the old-fashioned way out of wood or whatever, because he's got those tools and bits and pieces, instruments on his apron there, and obviously the apron in itself, and the little kind of eyeglasses. The whole thing kind of gives off that vibe of someone who's doing some very delicate work, and maybe that could be like, making toys. Then pretty soon after that, we did actually see him on location in Bristol wearing a very different outfit. Again, kind of complicating this whole thing and who this villain is and why he has so many different guises. That was the top hat and tails combo, very, very swish, and he was there dancing like a madman in the streets while this mad stuff was going on around him and kind of leading the Doctor into a bit of a dance as well and trying to get his attention. And yeah, again, there was nothing kind of in itself about that, I don't think, that hinted that he's the Toymaker. But again, this idea, I suppose, of a character who does have these different guises, or kind of perhaps can manipulate reality, or can kind of be standing in the middle of all this chaos and controlling everything and remaining calm himself. That kind of gives off this vibe of like a godlike character, or a very powerful character. There are also hints later on in the Bristol filming when the filming moved to a different street, which has been made up as like a kind of period setting, and there was a very intriguing shop front there that had been made up for a shop called Mr. Emporium. That seemed to very explicitly be some kind of toy shop. It has toys and tricks, fun and games, magic, games, tricks, etc. And also as part of the set dressing, there was a very, very intriguing sort of wire sign that had been kind of made into the shape of a clown, the kind of outline of a clown, almost like a kind of stencil thing, which looks very, very, very similar to, I believe, Joey the Clown, who was a character from the original Celestial Toymaker serial. There were two clowns in that story. There was Joey, and then one, funny enough, called Clara. And I think that was the first bit of proper, concrete evidence of people going, okay, this is too similar to be a coincidence. This has to be something more. This has to, at the very least, be some sort of Easter egg. I mean, it's not been kind of revealed whether the clowns themselves will be reappearing in a new guise in the specials. But at the very, very least, that this has to be some kind of Easter egg to that story, and therefore to the Celestial Toymaker as a character. And then I am jumping around in terms of chronology a little bit here, but much more recently we've had another massive hint to Joey the Clown, namely in one of the Who Spy teaser images that have been released on social media. These are behind the scenes photos from the set of Doctor Who, officially taken and officially released on social media channels. And the resemblance of this carving to Joey the Clown and to that sign as well from filming last year it is just completely uncanny. So, again, this has to be more than a coincidence. I think really it is these kind of these two clown things, the carving and the sign, that really kind of are the kernel of this whole theory. There was all the speculation about that outfit, the carpenter outfit, whatever, the Toymaker outfit. But this is the real thing, I think, that says, okay, this has to be the Toymaker. There is no way this is just a coincidence. There is no way they are just teasing or trolling us here. I mean, surely not. Surely not. This has to be part of a wider plan. And at the same time, it is quite nice because it is very, very niche, very, very subtle, and subtle enough to not kind of attract wider attention outside of Doctor Who circles, while at the same time saying to the fans, yes, this is a Toymaker thing, you're correct, you're right, but we aren't going to confirm it just yet. Aside from that, we have seen brief glimpses of Neil Patrick Harris's character, in the trailers and stuff, and in promotional images. There was some footage of him juggling some juggling balls, and of course that clip of him going, worldwide premiere, and doing all that kind of grandstanding and that kind of showman sort of stuff. But apart from that, really, I don't think there are any kind of other major clues or hints, unless there's anything that I've missed, that kind of point in the direction of the Toymaker, other than that kind of just general, I don't know, kind of chaotic sort of demeanour to this character, and this madness and the grandstanding, and all this kind of bonkers personality that the character seems to have. I mean, it's interesting because the original serial, The Celestial Toymaker, is 3 parts out of 4 missing, only that the final part remains. I was actually watching that for the first time just the other day to get a sense of kind of, who this character is and all this kind of sort of stuff. And I'd sort of heard beforehand, going into it, that the character himself, the villain himself, isn't actually all that impressive necessarily, or compared to how he's been remembered. He's been remembered as a much more, I don't know, kind of legendary character or mysterious or impressive character than what we actually get on screen, because of, the fact that 3 out of 4 episodes are missing, and we just have, these brief clips or the surviving episode or surviving photographs and stuff to go off. And the story as a whole, actually, is kind of one that some fans are a bit iffy on, because yes, the ideas are there and they kind of sound great. All these games that the Toymaker forces the Doctor and his companions to play, but actually, a lot of people do feel the story itself doesn't necessarily live up to all of that potential, and I think that allows for a really, really interesting opportunity here, assuming this is the Toymaker, because of course we still can't say absolutely for sure, but it's looking very, very likely, but assuming it is, there's a massive opportunity here to do something really, really interesting with this kind of blank slate of a character and of a concept, and really flesh that out a lot more and kind of lean into it and play with all those, the mind games and the kind of the wackiness and the potential and the possibility of having this character who can manipulate things and play with things and with places and with people like toys. And of course, all this rumoured stuff about John Logie Baird as well, and the creation of television, and Stooky Bill, I believe he's called, the little puppet mannequin thing that was on the screen in the trailer in Unit Headquarters. Imagine if that's all part of it too, with the Toymaker sort of interfering with the creation of television, or just somehow having some role to play there, kind of sabotaging things or using it to his own ends. Imagine how awesome a storyline that would be. And as well, because the Celestial Toymaker serial came so close towards the end of William Hartnell's time on the show and the first Doctor's era, there is an opportunity there to retcon the Toymaker as being somehow responsible for that first regeneration and for the first Doctor's death and something that happened there. Obviously, the whole kind of circumstances of that regeneration have been left fairly vague on screen. It's kind of meant to be like his body wearing a bit thin or something. And if the reaction to the Timeless Child twist is anything to go by, then perhaps if they tampered with the first Doctor's story once again, only at the end of it this time rather than the start, then maybe there would be some uproar and fans would find that controversial. Personally, I think it would be, like the Timeless Child, a kind of interesting twist to have that there, to kind of retcon that in and link it to what's happened now with David Tennant coming back, that face coming back as the 14th Doctor. There is just so much possibility with this, and I'm really, really hoping that kind of comes to pass on screen. So that is, I believe, everything we know so far about Neil Patrick Harris's character and all of the evidence that points towards him being the Celestial Toymaker. Like I say, hopefully in the trailer or at some other opportunity, coming up, we'll get some kind of confirmation either way of what's going on here. But I would be so surprised by this point if it wasn't a Toymaker thing. They know that we know, and they are aware of the theories, and they are teasing us, and so it's surely just a matter of time until the truth gets out and the whole thing is confirmed. And I can imagine the trailer being a really great opportunity, to do that by having a moment where the Toymaker kind of says, oh, I am the Celestial Toymaker, or the Doctor kind of names him, or there's some kind of moment there where he's named on screen, it's kind of mentioned in dialogue. I'm just like, oh my god. But do let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below, your thoughts and theories about Neil Patrick Harris's character and all this evidence, all these hints that point towards him being the Toymaker, and, how you'd like that news to be revealed, I suppose, when the time comes. Do you think the time is right to reveal it in the trailer? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, please like the video if you have enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon for some more trailer-related videos, I'm sure. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.